This is the Moto Edge 50 Pro, and Motorola has launched this for just 28,000 rupees. What's the catch? How is it not expensive? I mean, it's almost too good to be true. Because in this price segment, it comes with a lot of interesting features like a really slim design, curved display, IP68 water and dust resistance, 125 watt high-speed charging, 50 watt wireless charging, stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, and Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 chip with up to 12 gigs of RAM. Now look, all that's great, but cameras have been a sore point for Moto phones in the past, and this time, they claim this to be an AI-powered pro-grade camera that captures true colors, and it displays them on this Pantone validated display. Well, we'll see. But first, I have to say, this is a really slim device, very light, and has curved edges, and all in all, in a way that feels very good to hold. Now look, I've held quite a few of curved-edged phones in the past, but this one feels a tad bit better, and I'll tell you why. A, it's a narrow, tall design, so it's very easy to get your grip around the device. And B, the aluminum frame. I mean, it's so rare to see metal frames in this price segment, so I think that's quite good. C, it's got a 4500 mAh battery, which is slimmer than a 5000 mAh battery that would otherwise add to the weight and the thickness of the phone. I've got this silicone vegan leather finish in lavender color, but there's also a moonlight pearl finish, which I think is also very unique. And if you look at the camera housing, it's within this unibody design, so it kind of elegantly merges into the back panel. And on top of all of this, it's IP68 water and dust resistance. I mean, again, at this price point, very rare to see that level of resistance. But guys, there are two very tall claims that Motorola makes about this phone. First is about its display, and the second one is about its cameras. Let's talk about those first. Look, display. Generally speaking, good looking. It's a 6.7-inch POLED display with a 1.5K resolution and a 144Hz refresh rate. And that's crazy smooth because generally in this price segment, you don't get anything above 120Hz. So 144Hz. On top of that, it's an HDR10 Plus display and has a peak brightness of 2000 nits. I mean, I've seen movies on this, I've seen YouTube videos. They all look pretty good. Like, you wouldn't complain of anything, even outdoors. It's quite nice, no issues whether it's reading stuff or watching things. And the curved edges, it makes the display seem so bezel-less, so yeah, it looks good. However, Motorola got this display validated by Pantone, which is a first of its kind. And this makes the phone to be one of the best out there to see skin tones in their most natural form. And that will make even more sense when you talk about the cameras, which is actually supposed to capture those skin tones. So let's talk about the cameras. Specs-wise, you get a 50 megapixel main camera, a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera, and a 13 megapixel ultra-wide that also functions as a macro. There's also a TOF sensor and the autofocus light in here to help you capture very sharp images and videos. So I went out and took a lot of photos, right? And there were two reasons for it. One was to check out, well, how's the camera in general? How's the photo processing, the video processing? And the second one was, how well are those skin tones captured and how they come out? So let's go into samples. And guys, really, I do believe that the camera on the Moto phone has come a long way. These are a lot better than what I've seen in previous Moto phones. They look quite naturally processed, the colors are quite good, the sharpening isn't as aggressive. And I'll be honest, earlier in the Moto phones, the colors used to be, off a little. But this time, it seems like things are just so much better, except the sky, which I believe can still be improved. But other than that, I think it's a phenomenal job by Moto. Even in low light, guys, I don't even see as much noise and details, and that's quite good for this price segment. Do note that the primary camera actually has a f1.4 aperture, and that really helps you take great photos even in low light, and that's what we see here. Speaking of portrait shots, there are some shots that came out really well. The edge detection on objects was good, colors felt nice, and even in low light, the portrait effect did a very good job. However, in this particular tricky shot, it was a bit of a miss where you can see that the chain also got blurred out, or there are parts of the flower and the strands that got blurred out too. And then I also tried the 3x telephoto lens, and I think it did a decent job. I mean, nothing I can really complain about. But as I said, this time it's about skin tones, and does this capture skin tones very well? Let's check that. Okay, so here are pictures of me, and I'm not going to lie, they look quite good. Even my tan areas and the non-tan areas are very well captured. I mean, these are really good. And by the way, this is all a mix of normal and portrait photos and clicked from both primary and the front camera. And it doesn't matter which mode or which camera, all of them are doing an equally good job of reproducing these skin tones. And seriously guys, there's going to be a link in the description. All of these photos are available for you to download. So just download them, check out the quality for yourself, evaluate. Now, I also shot a couple of 4K videos, so let's see them. So here's a 4K video sample shot using this phone. And as you can see, I think it captures colors just about okay. The dynamic range is also decent. And the shift in white balance, it's not a lot. Like it's really, really good. And there are times when the colors may feel a little bit more saturated than they should be, but I don't think that actually looks too bad. It just adds, a necessary pop in your videos, which actually looks good. And, when you share them across, they look really nice. Also guys, the Edge 50 Pro, it has AI adaptive stabilization. So, that along with intelligent autofocus tracking, it tries to keep the subject in the center of the video. So as you shoot, it sort of makes sure that your footage is sharp. Guys, this is a 4K video that I'm shooting using the front-facing camera of the Moto Edge 50 Pro. Again, it's very rare that you find phones in this segment that offer you 4K from front-facing cameras. So it's really good to see in this one. And again, I'm recording straight into the camera. So this is pretty much the kind of voice that you would hear if you used the internal microphones on this phone. And let me know in the comments how you think this is. Now guys, that was an outdoor video sample, but when you come inside and where the lighting could be a bit of a challenge, there's a bit of loss in terms of sharpness. The colors though look quite nice, but yeah, you can see that there's a bit of grain here when the light is a bit low. Now guys, let me tell you, there's actually a lot of processing that's happening once you click a picture. So when you're taking a picture in the camera's app, the viewfinder, it may not look as good, but once you click it and you let it process, pictures turn out really well. And Moto applies something called as Turbo Fusion, their own AI photo enhancement engine that really works like magic, and you've kind of seen that in the pictures. Oh, and it also uses AI to detect like a smile or any gesture just to take a photo by itself. And by the way guys, this is a 50 megapixel front-facing camera. So in the settings, it's got two modes, standard and high. Anyway, enough about the camera. Let's talk a little bit more about the phone. So this phone is running on a Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 chip, which is very good. It's fast, it's snappy, battery efficient. I played a couple of games on this and it was smooth. No issues in terms of playback, no major heating despite 30 to 45 minutes of non-stop gaming. I mean, it does get warm, but not warm in an unpleasant way. I mean, Snapdragon 7 Gen 3, it's a very tried and tested, dependable chip, so you can't really go wrong with it. And look, things are fast in general, like you won't experience any kind of slowdown or lag in general day-to-day tasks. It's got Wi-Fi 6 support, it covers 15 5G bands, and you get very good 5G speeds on it. Now, if you get the 12GB variant, you get the 125-watt charger in the box, which is great, and it can fully charge your phone in just 18 minutes. But if you get the 8GB variant, you actually get a 68-watt turbocharger in the box, which is still pretty good. Now, here's where it actually gets fun. So this phone can be wirelessly charged at 50 watts, and it can reverse wirelessly charge other phones at 10 watts. I mean, again, very rare to find such features in a phone in this price segment. Now, the only thing that might be of concern to you is that this has a 4500 mAh battery capacity and not 5000 as you see in other smartphones generally in this price segment. But hold on, the UI on this, it's near to stock Android experience, so it's very lightweight and it tends to be more battery efficient. But having said that, this easily lasts you the entire day. So if you plug it out at about 8 AM, this will go on till about 9 to 10 PM without dying on you, which I think is sufficient. But even in general, like if you think you're gonna have some battery anxiety, well, you've got fast charging, right? So just plug it in for 10 minutes and you're good to go for the night. Now, let's talk about the software. So it's got Android 14 and it comes loaded with Moto's Hello UX. First of all, Moto is going to give you 3 years of OS upgrades and 4 years of security updates, and that pretty much is in line with what other smartphones offer you in this price segment. And despite being very light in terms of the preloaded apps, the UI is actually quite solid and full of functionalities. So in terms of personalization, you can long press on the home screen and get this new menu, which lets you pick a theme or, decide a font, add widgets from here. You could also generate wallpapers that are in sync with a specific photo in your gallery. And once you do that, it'll pick up the pattern and even the colors from that picture and generate a wallpaper along with the same color theme. You can even customize your lock screen clocks with various clock styles and decide on what kind of notification presentation you enjoy. You've also got edge lights that look quite cool when you've got notifications on your phone, and all of that is customizable too. There's also Moto Connect that lets you stream your phone's content on any smart wireless monitor or TV. And you can just use your phone as a trackpad or an air mouse to actually navigate around and control things and open apps or just, scroll through YouTube Music. I mean, possibilities are endless. And you can also connect your phone with any Windows-based laptop using Ready For.
And with that, your phone and laptop kind of become like one. So, you can copy paste across devices, you can very easily transfer files, you get universal control, and you know how sad laptop webcams are, but you can use your phone's front camera as a webcam instead of the laptop ones. And you can even access your phone on the laptop, so you don't even have to pick up your phone, or even if it's not around, that's fine because you can just control all of it from within your laptop.
Now, a lot of this kind of stuff is not available on other phones in this price segment, and it does add functionality. And if you value such functionalities, this phone is an easy recommendation from me to you. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys, about the Moto Edge 50 Pro. I do want to touch upon the pricing and the availability. So there are two variants for the Edge 50 Pro. One is 8GB with 256 gigs of internal storage, and the other is 12 gigs of RAM with 256 gigs of internal storage. And the prices are as you see. However, if you're in India, you could actually get a 2,000 rupee bank discount or cashback immediately if you've got any leading bank credit cards, debit cards. And if you're buying right away in this introductory period, you'll get another 2,000 rupees off. So that's 4,000 off. And with 4,000 rupees off, I think this phone is a very easy recommendation. Okay, that's it, guys. But if you still have any questions, doubts, comments, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. And if you guys did enjoy watching the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon, guys, please, and mark all. It really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.